Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 10th, just after 10:30 in the morning. And my name is Larry Cedar, and I'm back for another session on what I call Sqanning, spelled Sqanning. Sqanning is a relaxation technique which utilizes the incremental release of muscular tension, tiny amounts of muscular tension release. The incremental release of muscular tension to achieve a deep state of physical, emotional, and mental calm. That's what we do here, and that's what we practice. The technique is very simple. You can learn it in a few minutes. The challenge of it is practicing and starting. Just starting sometimes is the hardest part, because what Sqanning requires, simply put, is that you let go. Let go of muscular tension, let go of your thoughts, your ideas, your concepts, your beliefs. Just for a moment, you come back to your original self, a still, quiet, calm self, burdened, encumbered by nothing but your own breath. So that's what we're trying to do. We're going to spend the next half hour doing this. I'm going to really try to keep it simple today and just practice this technique. If you'd like to know more about the background of the technique or the theory behind it, you're welcome to visit the Sqanning Facebook page, Sqanning, and see previous sessions where I talk a lot, sometimes too much, about how I came up with the technique and its origins. What we're going to be doing here is the incremental release of muscular tension. That takes us out of our head and into our body. We're going to stop thinking about the issues of the day, politics, religion, stop thinking about whatever personal issues you're dealing with. We're going to concentrate on moving our body from a contracted state into a more expanded state, and we're going to do that through the incremental release of muscular tension. That's all we're going to do. If you've never done this before, trust me, it works. So let's just get started. There's two processes in the universe, basically, and this is based on the writings of a man named Thaddeus Golas, Golas. He wrote The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment. Again, check it out, read it, give you a lot of great background. But he basically said the universe is made up of two processes: contraction, squeeze your hands together, that's what contraction feels like, and expansion, 3, 2, 1, release, that's what expansion feels like. And I'm just going to leave it at that today, because again, I want to get right into it. We tend to exist in a state of contraction, particularly when we feel bad or upset or stressed or anxious or compulsive. We're in a locked state of contraction. Overly contracted, I call it. So what we want to do is move ourselves into a state of expansion. How do we do that? Just make the choice. 3, 2, 1, release. So that's all we're going to do. That just showed you basically what Sqanning is all about. Now you may say, well, that's too simple. Simple is beautiful. Easy to learn, easy to practice. Hard to master, and you will see why I've been doing it for many, many years, many thousands of hours, and I'm still not satisfied with my level of skill, because the satisfaction it has given me motivates me to keep practicing. So we're just going to start. Squeeze your hands together, tight, 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 and see what that feels like. That's contraction. Try not to think about anything else or ask too many questions of the process or yourself or me. Just go with it and see what it does for you. Squeeze your hands together, tight, tight, tight. That's contraction. See what that feels like. That's what we do 90% of the day. We work hard. We make things happen. There's nothing wrong with contraction. It's the stuff of life. But we can become overly contracted, and that's when we feel bad. So Sqanning offers a solution. Expansion. 3, 2, 1, release. Drop your hands to your sides. Take a deep, deep breath. Deep breaths are expansive by nature, and you will see that everything I'm about to do gently moves you away from contraction into a direction of expansion until you are balanced. Life is a combination of contraction and expansion. We only get into trouble when we're overly contracted, and that's what we need to expand. So let's do it again. Squeeze your hands together, tight, tight, tight. See what that feels like. Physically experience what contraction feels like. Feels strong on the one hand, but it also feels limiting, restrictive, tight, maybe uncomfortable. So it can be many things. But when you're overly contracted, it doesn't feel good. You feel bad. If you're anxious, if you're stressed, if you're feeling compulsive, or if you're depressed, which is a form of emotional contraction, you feel bad. Typically, what do? We say, I need a drink. We say, I need to smoke a joint. I need to pop a pill. A million different solutions, but they're all external, outside of us. This is a way to solve your contraction issue yourself. 3, 2, 1, release. Drop your hands to your sides. We're going to take more, this time 3 expansive breaths. Here we go. The next thing we're going to do is sit in absolute stillness and silence for 15 seconds, and I'll explain that more when we're done. 15 seconds. Don't move a muscle. Deep breath. So what have we done? Contraction, expansion, deep breaths, expansive. Then we sat in stillness and silence. Stillness is something we rarely do in life. Watch. It's odd because we never do it. So when you sit absolutely still, you're sending a very strong signal to your body. Something's happening. Something's different. What we've done is we've stopped taking action. We've stopped doing. And we send a very strong signal to our body that we've chosen to stop. We say if you're on a cart and it's moving west and you want to go back east, it has to stop first before it can go back the other way. So we've stopped because we're now going to move direction towards expansion. And we do it in absolute silence because words are a contraction. Formation of letters, sounds to make sentences and paragraphs and speeches and tweets and posts. So we want to stop contracting. So all of these steps are expansive steps. So let's continue. Let's do it again. We're going to go a little deeper each time. Ultimately, we will end this preliminary phase of scanning and we'll go into the nuts and bolts of the technique, which is the actual release of muscular tension. But let's continue these preliminary steps. This time, take 5 deep breaths. Deep as you can, exhale all the way, followed by 30 seconds of absolute stillness and silence. Here we go. Last one. 30 seconds, absolute stillness and silence. Continue to breathe, but still silence. 15 more seconds. Deep breath. So one of the things that always happens to me when I begin this expansive process, moving from contraction to expansion, is I become more comfortable with silence, stillness and silence. And you'll see me take longer and longer breaks. Because what expansion does is it detaches you from all your external involvements and processes. It moves you away from the thinking process. It moves you away from your worries and concerns. It moves you away from your physical tension. And you come to a place of stillness, quiet, calm. Because we've forgotten the value of stillness and silence and nothingness. Scanning brings you back into a more expanded world. Because expansion has equal value to contraction. We forget that. We think it's all about contracting, making things happen, thinking, worrying, efforting. We forget that the opposite has equal value. Nothingness, expansion, openness, silence, stillness, calm. We instinctively know we need to go there. That's why we say, I need a drink, I need a joint, I need a pill. We feel it. We feel, I'm overcontracted. We don't use that word necessarily, but we feel bad. Something's off. I need a vacation. I need to move back into an expansive direction to create some balance in my life. But we don't instinctively do it because we think it's letting go means to lose control, to lose power. And it's just our habit to contract. So what we're doing here with scanning is creating a new habit. And we're reminding ourselves, because we always know it inside, that stillness, calm, and quiet have value. And we can take ourselves there. We don't think we can because it's scary. I got to have a drink, I got to have a joint, I got to have a pill, I got to have a masseuse, I got to have a chiropractor, I got to go to a therapist. Someone else has to do it for me. I can't let go of control myself. That would be irresponsible. Someone must take control and do it for me. But that's an illusion. You can do it yourself. We just did it. So let's keep going. This time we're going to take 7. We're going to go even more expansive. 7 deep breaths follow a full minute, 60 seconds of absolute stillness and silence. Here we go. 7 deep breaths. 2 more. 60 seconds, absolute stillness and silence, but continue to breathe. 30 more seconds. Absolute stillness. Ten more seconds. Deep breath. Now, if you feel dizzy or strange or disoriented, that's natural. We are rather forcibly extracting ourselves from our contracted state and moving ourself, our very consciousness, our very physical being into a more expanded state. That can be disorienting, that can be frightening, that can be unsettling. That's okay. We've been holding on. We tend to conduct our lives in a constantly contracted state, even if it's slightly contracted. The hardest, one of the hardest parts of the day for me is going to sleep. Because at that moment, when I put down my phone, I've turned off the television, I put down the book, I've turned out the lights, it's just me. And I know in order to let go of, in order to get to sleep, I'm going to have to let go of all my thoughts and worries and concerns. Letting go, very frightening, very scary. And yet we know we need sleep. Why? Because that's when we expand. That's when we recuperate. That's when we open up and let go of all the constraints, this cage we built around ourselves. If you don't sleep, if you don't have that recovery time, you'll literally implode. So letting go is challenging, it's disorienting and difficult, yet it's the key to happiness, because when we expand, we find balance in our life. We don't want to let go of our contractions, our hard work, our efforting, our physical labor. It's what makes us human, but we do need that balance. We need to expand. So we're done with what's called the preliminary phase. Now we move into what I call the nuts and bolts, which is the actual incremental release of muscular tension. Sqanning is using the muscles of the body to induce an expanded state. Now you say, well, why don't I just relax? Why don't I just say to myself, I'm just going to relax and let go? If you can do that, that's fantastic. But our body is naturally resistant. Our mind is naturally resistant to letting go. So we hold on. So sqanning is a trick of sorts. By just taking this fist and saying, release, you're sending a signal to your body. It's time to let go. So we use the muscles as an avenue of sorts, a path, a pathway to expansion. It's very difficult to relax and let go of thoughts. If you've ever tried, if someone said, let's meditate, just empty your mind. You empty my mind. Are you kidding? My mind's like the 101 at 5 o'clock. That's a freeway for those of you who are not living in Los Angeles. It's very difficult. However, the muscles are easy to manipulate. You make a fist, let go. That's it. Squeeze your hands, let go. So we use that easy path to release muscular tension that induces our body with a state of expansion, which in turn influences our mind. If you think of the mind as a muscle of sorts, holding on tight to thoughts, worries, concerns, depression, as you relax the muscles, the mind will follow. The body follows itself. Whatever way it's going, everything follows behind. Your mind relaxes, those thoughts float away, and you find yourself in this still, calm place. So here's how we relax muscular tension. We just decide. And we go through different parts of our body, what I call zones, to isolate certain muscle groups. That way it's easier to focus. Just like you can take your hand, 3, 2, 1, release. You can take your face, which I call zone 1, and on my count, release the tension in your face. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, release. You saw my face droop. Because what I did was flipped a switch that turned off the power to those muscles. That's sqanning. That's what you're going to do throughout your entire body, and you will begin to feel your body move, drift into this more open, relaxed, expanded state, and you will see your mind will follow. Here we go. The face. 3, 2, 1, release. Feel that letting go sensation. This to this. You have that kind of control over every muscle in your body. You just don't know it, or you haven't practiced it. That's why we practice, to build that awareness and to build that skill, that ability to release muscular tension. Zone 2 is the top of the head. 3, 2, 1, release. Zone 3 is the back of the head. 3, 2, 1, release. You'll notice my shoulders also drop because everything's connected. So we're working on one zone, but if you feel other parts of your body let go, let that happen. We're gently inducing a state of expansion. Zone 4 is the neck. 3, 2, 1, release. Again, the neck. 3, 2, 1, release. And now you're feeling yourself start to let go, physically let go. After all these years and thousands of hours of practice, I'm still astonished when I discover how much tension I'm holding just sitting in a chair. Just sitting in a chair, and I'm holding, keeping it together, if you will. Unnecessary tension. As your body goes, so goes your mind. As your mind goes, so goes your body. If you can release muscular tension in your body, your mind will follow. It will relax and release the negative, obsessive, compulsive thoughts, whatever you're concerned about, whatever awareness you have, whatever sense you have that you need to be thinking or worry about something will dissipate, and you'll find yourself again in this place of still, calm, quiet. The neck, 3, 2, 1, let it go. Zone 5 is the shoulders, 3, 2, 1, let them drop. Now I just felt an impulse to breathe. Why? Contraction is a holding of sorts. As your body goes, so your body goes. If you're holding emotionally, you're holding physically. I'm, in effect, holding my breath when I'm contracted. As I begin to expand, my breath lets go. The diaphragm lets go. My body says, thank you. I've been oxygen depleted. May I now take a breath? You'll feel that impulse. Let your body breathe. If you take 10 breaths every minute, you're catching up. When we walk around contracted and full of tension, we're holding our breath. We're breathing far less than we need to. So when we give ourselves that opportunity, the body says, thank you for this chance to catch up. Take that breath. You will feel a tingling in your body. You'll feel a throbbing as the blood vessels and arteries open up, the capillaries, and the blood flow increases, particularly to your extremities. You're bringing yourself back to life. We go into a contracted place because we feel instinctively, metaphorically, like we're going to battle. We tend to always go through life with our fists up, prepared for battle. When you contract, your body is finding a way to protect you. It's layering on armor, if you will. It pulls the blood vessels tight. It focuses all the blood in the chest. You're getting ready to fight. But we're not at battle 24 hours a day. You can afford to let go of all that tension. You just need to remind yourself to do it. That's why we scan. Zone 5, the shoulders, 3, 2, 1, release. Let them drop. Zone 6, the chest, down the stomach and into the waist, 3, 2, 1, tiny bit of release. Here we go, release. And again, if you forget what it's like to release your muscular tension, just make a fist and go 3, 2, 1, release. Squeeze your hands, 3, 2, 1, release. That's all we're doing. That's all of scanning. It's that simple. The most challenging part of scanning is starting and staying with it and moving through the feelings of resistance you naturally feel because your body wants to hold on. Again, zone 6, the chest, the stomach, the front of the waist, 3, 2, 1, release. Zone 7, down the back and into the pelvis, 3, 2, 1, release. And again, zone 7, down the back and into the pelvis, 3, 2, 1, release. Now, if you hear me, excuse me, clearing my throat a lot, that tends to happen when you start to expand. Your body suddenly gets free and it starts reorienting itself and settling up parts that were sort of in a held state. Things start to open up. My breathing is opening up. Naturally, I'm clearing my throat. There's processes which begin to happen. You've held yourself in a position. You put yourself on pause. Now you're coming back to life. So don't be surprised if strange sensations or feelings or things start to happen. You're opening the door to yourself again. Zone 8, the last zone, is down the legs, across the knees, and into the feet. 3, 2, 1, release. Again, down the legs, across the knees, and into the feet. 3, 2, 1, release. Now, don't think about it, just do it. Your entire body, on my count, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. 3, 2, 1, release. Now, you may send that instruction to your body, and your body may say, no, no, hell no. Expect that. That's okay. There are two of us, in effect. There's your physical being, and that includes your thought processes. And then there's the higher self that has the ability to stand outside of yourself, observe what's going on, and give yourself instructions. Your higher self. You can direct yourself in life. You can say, I know you want to have that shot of whiskey. Probably not good for you. You have a meeting in the morning. I know you want to eat that whole chocolate cake. Probably not good for you. Let's just have a small piece. I know you want to obsessively worry and think and hold on to your physical tightness. I have a better idea. Let's expand. Let's release. Let's let go. Now, your body won't always listen, and you will find yourself at war with yourself. And when we feel that we can't win, that's when we have that drink, or we smoke that joint, or we do the thing that we know is not good for us, but we can't help ourselves. We are at war with ourselves. But if you make a partner with yourself and you gently coax yourself, your body might follow your instructions. Be kind to yourself, love yourself, and gently move it in a direction you'd like it to go. Expansion, scanning, is gently releasing muscular tension. You will feel resistance, but if you keep at it, like gently tapping at a wall, eventually you will break through. So we do it in these small incremental steps. I always say the hardest part of scanning is starting, because I always feel resistance. Contraction, tension, thinking, compulsion is my go-to solution for life. It's habit. It works sometimes. You can achieve things through contraction. But when you feel bad, when you sense you are overly contracted and you know it's not healthy, and you know you could be feeling better if you could just take control of your mechanism, it helps to have practiced a skill that allows you to do that. Scanning allows you to do that through the incremental release of muscular tension. That's all we're doing. It's so simple. Some people say, well, if I can't read a book on the subject, if I can't spend $100 on a session at a studio somewhere with a guru, it just can't be that valuable. I'm here to tell you it can be that simple. The incremental release of muscular tension. So let's do it again. The face. 3, 2, 1. Just let it go. That sense of release, that tiny sense of is everything. That's it. All you need to do is master that simple technique, and you can bring yourself into an expanded state whenever you like. You must give it time. The body's resistant, but if you're patient, you can do it. Zone 2, the top of the head. 3, 2, 1, release. Zone 3, the back of the head. 3, 2, 1, release. Zone 4, the neck. 3, 2, 1, release. Zone 5, the shoulders. 3, 2, 1, release. And if you feel it, you can't do it yourself. If it's too uncomfortable or weird or scary, follow my instructions. Just do it. The shoulders. 3, 2, 1, release. Let them go. Zone 6, the chest, the stomach, the front of the waist. Let go of the smallest amount of muscular tension. Tiny release. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, release. If you feel yourself begin to slouch or slope to the side, that's fine. We're letting it all go. Every thought, every concern, every compulsion, we're just, for the moment, you can always go back to them, letting them go. The chest, the stomach, front of the waist. 3, 2, 1, release. You will feel a softness come over your body. Contraction is hard, expansion is soft and permeable. This is hard. This is soft. Down the back and into the pelvis. 3, 2, 1, release. Let it go. Again, if it's unfamiliar or strange or frightening, just follow my instructions. The back down into the pelvis, just let the smallest amount of muscular tension go. 3, 2, 1, release. Zone 8, down the legs, across the knees and into the feet. 3, 2, 1, release. It doesn't matter how far you expand. If you say, well, I'm still pretty tense. This helped a little bit, but I'm still pretty tense. That's okay. If you felt the smallest amount of expansion or muscular release, you have won. I always say, the beautiful thing about this process is you can't contract and expand at the same time. It is physically impossible. So if you have expanded at all, you have contracted that much less. It's a beautiful formula. It's almost mathematical in its certainty. Expand a little, and you will have contracted that much less. Take a deep breath. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if you've expanded 1, that's a victory. If you've done 10, amen. What we're doing with scanning is we're reintroducing the concept of expansion into our very being, our life, because we get out of balance. We get too stuck uncontract. So this is an assist, if you will. It's no different than any other assist you have in your life, like alcohol or a joint or a pill or a therapist or a masseuse. All of these processes allow us to expand. But this one you can do for yourself, anytime, anywhere, in the comfort of your home. I don't recommend doing it while driving. I want to be very clear about that. If you feel you need to expand, if you're feeling overly contracted, pull the car over and find a place where you can sit for 5 minutes and take any one of these expansive steps. And I'm going to review, and then we're going to call it a day. We started with squeezing our hands together and expanding. We remind ourselves that we have a choice, contraction, expansion. We started by first reminding ourselves that we have the ability, always within us, to make a choice to expand. We took a series of deep, expansive breaths. If contraction is holding, deep breaths are expansion. So we freed ourselves from our contractive state. We sat in absolute stillness to remind ourselves that we were going to stop contracting. We're going to stop doing what we've been doing and begin changing direction. And we did it in absolute silence because words and thoughts are contractions. So all these were expansive steps. Then we moved through our body and incrementally, zone by zone, released small amounts of muscular tension. We gently nudged, persuaded our body to move into a more expanded direction. And you will see, if you practice, your body will get on board at some point and say, oh, I get it. I see where we're going. Damn, this feels good. Because the body, I'm 65. The body is habitual. And I can tell myself all I want that it's better to expand. But my body has its habits. And no matter what I tell it, it says, no, I want to hold on. So even after all these years, you've got to gently persuade your body it's going to be okay. Let go, let go, let go. That's all we're doing, letting go. Then you go back to your life and you contract the shit out of it. Because that's the stuff of life. Fighting hard, working hard, using our body, our musculature, our mind to fight hard for what we want. That's all great and good. Just remember that a balanced life has equal parts expansion. Bring yourself back to center and you'll have a hell of a day. That's it for today. It's called Sqanning, S-Q-A-N-N-I-N-G, a relaxation technique which utilizes the incremental release of muscular tension to achieve a deep state of physical, emotional, and hopefully mental calm. I end every session the same way. Rule number 1 is love yourself. This is it. Love yourself. This is it. This is what you were given. For better or worse, you've got to accept and love what you are. Love is the most expansive action you can take in the universe. So start here. And when you've loved yourself so much that there's love spilling out, you have extra, pass it around to the rest of us because we could all use it. Have yourself a great day. I'll see you next time. And thanks. Bye-bye.